Good afternoon. Welcome to our personal branding special event here at Northwood University's Griswold Auditorium. I would like to start by our panelists introducing themselves, and then we'll go from my farthest away.
Hi, Mike Winglakowski. I'm the managing partner at Garber Chevrolet Saginaw in Saginaw. I graduated from here in 2003.
My name is Scott McNellis, and I own Lalonde's Market with my wife, Emily. We've been in business since 1958. It is a corner butcher shop, grocery store, small little family business.
I'm Megan Pellerito. I'm the membership director at Midland Country Club. I've been there for 7 years. I moved up here with my husband 7 years ago. We graduated from Hillsdale College in 2014. I had a marketing management degree there. And yeah, I'm happy to be here today.
Brandon Lewis. They're Reinhardt Realtors. I've been a realtor for 9 years now.
Excellent. I will start right out with the questions, and we're probably going to start with you, Brandon, and then we'll see if people want to chime in as well. What does personal branding mean to you?
Personal branding to me is your authentic self. Who are you? And once you find out who you are, you're able to make your content or your posts that way. There we go. It's finding your authentic self. When you are unauthentic, people can see that. They know when you're attempting to be someone you're not. And there's nothing worse than being online and seeing something and falling in love with that person and then meeting them in person, and that is not who they are or any of the things that they stand for. So that's what I would say.
Good. Megan?
So I was going to say before I got here, I want to make sure that you get as much out of it as you can, because I remember being in your shoes and showing up to these things. So I hope you have good questions at the end. But personal branding to me, like Brandon said, means being authentic. And I think as time goes on, you're going to find that out more and more about yourself, the things that you're really comfortable with if you work in business like I do, when you're meeting with other people, the things that you're comfortable with, and that'll just improve with time, hopefully. And then the things that are just not you, and that would probably help you define what your personal brand is. So yeah, being authentic.
Personal branding. How do I differentiate myself from other people in the market just like me, or that offer something similar? And how do I build trust with customers to make sure that they come back to me because they trust me, because the consistency is the same? And I think that goes back to what they said about authenticity, is that you can sell somebody a story, but to keep up that facade is really difficult. So how do you sell something that's actual genuine to make yourself different than your competition?
I think my take's a little different. When I think of personal branding, I think of a car guy word that's really old, but it's prospecting, which is telling people who you are, what you do, and where you do it. I mean, there's a lot of cars, right? Every Chevrolet is different, or every Chevrolet is the same. Salespeople are different, but you just want to let them know, who, what, and where. And that's going to be the starting point. That's going to be what's the base of what you do. I mean, pretty simple, but pretty powerful thought.
Mike, I'll let you start this one because I think it definitely follows up with what you just said. How do you work on your company or your brand?
Yeah, I think you've all probably heard a saying like this is anything you say can and will be used against you, right? Good, bad, or indifferent. They talked about authentic self being a great guy on Twitter or Instagram or whatever social platform is out there, and then being a jerk at the event on Friday night. I think you're just aware all the time of what you have to do and how you want to do it and what message you want to convey.
Go ahead, Scott.
Exactly what he said. You're going to define who you are and what your brand is. In my instance, so we are a butcher shop. There's 15 places to buy meat in Midland. I want to develop myself as an individual, as something that's different than what's available out at any one of the other stores, right? So how do I do that? Anybody can sell a piece of garbage one time. You just won't get people to come back. And if it's just not a good idea to try and dress your items up as something that they're not. So again, back to authenticity and just being individually different than your competition.
So that was something that when I was first hired, we really wanted to focus on. My boss, my role was newly created at the country club, the membership director position, and we decided to get me personally involved with a lot of stuff right out of the gate. So I have a professional association, and if you are going to go into business and you can find a professional association within whatever industry you're going into, I think that would be a great resource. So we have the Professional Club Marketing Association nationally, and then within Michigan. And I love leaning on them to refine what Midland Country Club is. So at the beginning, they basically showed me what our brand looked like, and then I just got to work with seeing what else was out there and then trying to bring that back to us. So whether that was going to our little conference meetings that we have within the state or going to our national conference, that has helped me a ton.
So in real estate, there are 240 real estate agents in the city of Midland. They're everywhere. Yeah, exactly. They're everywhere.
More than houses for sale.
And for you to differentiate yourself, it's the way I dress, the way I talk, the programs that I'm a part of, the businesses that I'm a part of. One of the things I did, I kind of branded myself the Dapper Agent. That was a older agent who always thought I dressed nice when I walked into the office. Coming from corporate America, that was all the clothes that I had. So sometimes just being who you are, once again, that authentic self, walking into the office, this is just what I have. She said, "Oh, you're so dapper." Dapper. Oh, that's kind of cool. So it kind of started this hashtag Dapper Agent type situation that literally that was organic. But I think going back to what you said about, yes, I can sell you a house once, but can you keep that up? Is that who you are every day, all day? So.
This one kind of goes into the Northwood Code of Ethics. And I'm sure all of our students know them, but our Fresh Air acronym about values and ethics. How do values and ethics play into your own personal branding or your company's personal branding? And how do you ensure that your actions align with that brand? Does anybody want to start with that one?
I could start.
Okay, go ahead, Megan.
That's always been a huge deal to me, especially ethics. I remember doing a presentation my senior year of high school, and they wanted you to pick a word, and being ethical, that was my word. Anyways, it's a big deal to me in my job because I'm selling something with a higher price tag. We have an initiation fee, and then they have a monthly payment that all members have to pay into perpetuity as long as they want the membership. So whenever I'm talking to somebody, it may or may not be the right fit for them to buy what I am selling them. So I just try to make sure that it's not a sale that's for me. I try to make sure I remind them, if they need a reminder, that it's a long-term decision for them or their family. And I think that that's a huge way to look at my type of sales ethically, is that it's not about me. I want to make sure that they're eyes wide open about any little hidden fees or what it could look like in the future as a member, because we have a board and we have committees and things like that, and things could change there, but really they are locked in by owning a membership there to some degree. So anyways, there are a lot of things with values and ethics that play into how I make my sales.
Yeah, I would, that's part of our core. The values that we have at our company are part of what we are, what our culture is. We have a very simple, it's a 6 values, HRWIP, we call it: honesty, empathy, respect, work ethic, integrity, and pride. And if you follow those, you don't really have to worry about a lot. We always say values are only true values when they're tested, right? You're talking about selling a house to one person or a bad piece of meat. Same thing. It's easy it's easier when it's a lie, but then are your values there, right? Like it's easier sometimes to tell a white lie and get something over with versus being completely honest all the time, having to remember what you said, go back and forth and cause bigger problems down the road. In my world as the general manager at the store, I really only get to really mad people, right? I only get, we deal with 1,500 service customers and 300 sales customers, and I get to talk to one or two a month maybe. And it's something stupid like that. It's a little lie, or they didn't call back, or they didn't do those kind of things. And if you just go with that values card every single day, your brand is not going to take a beating. It's not going to be tarnished.
Oh, sorry, Brandon. You cannot put lipstick on a pig and call it a princess. It's still a pig. So, yeah, I guess that's the whole thing. With food too, a lot of people are bougie enough that they understand some buzzwords. I want wild caught, free range, organically grown, whatever, USDA inspected, and I have to weed through all of the garbage to get to what is it that we are actually selling. And I think if you talk about authenticity, maybe it's selfish, but I have 4 children at home. We eat the food that I provide and sell to the public. So just have faith in me that I'm feeding this to my own children. I wouldn't feed you garbage, right? So I think ethically, it's hard too, because people put buzzwords around things to make them sound fancier than they really are. And I have a hard time playing that game. That's really difficult for me. And people appreciate that. They appreciate the fact that you're honest and you put out exactly what it is. You can be proud of what you're selling. You're proud of the car you're selling. You're proud of the membership you're offering. Brandon is proud of the house that he is showing somebody because it's perfect for them. And I'm proud of the meat that we're putting out the door, or the seafood that we're putting out the door.
So in real estate, it's usually the biggest purchase you'll ever make in your whole entire life. And most people only do it once, maybe 2, 3 times in a lifetime. Sounds a little cliche, but it's the golden rule. You treat people the same way you would want them to be treated. I always tell my clients, I've sold my mom's home, I've sold my grandmother's home, and I'm going to give you that same care, that same expertise. If we walk in a house, and not just for the sale, I go, everything that you told me and your criteria, this probably isn't the one. Or maybe I know something that's being built in the area. You have to be able to stand on your morals and your ethics to say, you know what, this isn't the one, let's keep looking. Yes, it's a little bit more time, but I always say, I'd rather you love me than when you see me in Myers, you're kind of swearing under your breath lest you see me because I've kind of pushed you into something that maybe you didn't really want.
He meant to say Lalonde's.
Lalonde's.
Yeah, when you see me in Lalonde's, he meant to say that.
Yes.
I was waiting for that, Scott. I was waiting for that.
Sorry, Brandon. I
It's
just
fine.
called you out.
It's fine.
You were there today, so I'm happy.
It's fine.
This next one you guys have kind of touched on a little bit, but what makes your brand unique? What makes your company, what makes your style unique compared to other, whether it's real estate agents or clubs or stores or buying cars?
Yeah, you can start in 1907. I think 118 years is a good start with that. That's when 117 years when the company was founded as a Buick distributorship and has never left. Never left the area, homegrown, and has grown into 3,000 employees, 25 dealerships, 51 B stores, hockey team, and all based out of mid-Michigan, right? Some people don't know the Children's Museum in Saginaw. Has anyone ever heard of? That's the original dealership. Dick Garber donated the land, started the capital campaign to build that for Saginaw. There's no real benefit to him or the organization. And if we take everything that we do in like what would Dick do, not to be the weird one, but that's a great brand for us. That makes a difference. It truly matters where you buy your car for all that we do in mid-Michigan and other communities we serve. And that's a drum I don't think we do a great job beating because not many people know how much we give and do for the community. But goes a long way.
Started in mid-Michigan. How many states is it in now? Put you on the spot, I'm sorry.
No, I can just tell them to you. Can't tell you the number. New York, Chicago, Illinois, South Carolina, and Florida. And then the B stores, Right Way Automotive, are in Kansas, Ohio, Indiana. Also, I think that's it.
Okay.
With those, so quite a few.
Uniqueness, anybody else want to add to that?
My business is based on a three-legged stool. That sounds a little funky, but if my business is supported by three legs, the stool is stable. You take one away and it's going to get pretty rocky. That's how I look at everything. The three legs are quality, fair pricing, which goes back to kind of ethics, and then customer service. So as long as I pay attention to those three values in my company, we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. And when I say customer service, I mean like genuine, true customer service. My brand is that old school butcher shop where it's not a family pack of pork chops or a family pack of chicken legs that you pick up. You have to have a conversation with my employees. And then I employ young people. So that's like crazy because a lot of young people don't even really know how to communicate effectively. It's just a skill. It's a skill, and we teach that the best that we can. I will make sure that the quality we're selling is the best quality I can get my hands on. I'll also make sure that I'm not so out of line price-wise that we're offering things at a fair price. So if I buy a super high quality, I may get a little more for it, but I can't be egregious about it. And definitely not with Heinz ketchup and Campbell's soup, because the formula inside the can isn't special for me. It's the same at every other store. But the customer service part, that's pretty slick.
So for Midland Country Club, what makes us unique, I guess I'll talk about it a couple ways. One is being from downstate, I'm more familiar with other private clubs that are in the Detroit area and the Ann Arbor area. And it's been really humbling being at Midland Country Club because you may not know, we had a club that was built in 1928, and then in 2010, what's standing there now was newly built. And when they did that, they said long term, we really want it to be family friendly if it's going to last. So they added a lot of things that you still don't necessarily see in other fully private country clubs across the state. So really robust daycare center, a day spa, the splash pad for little ones out at the pool. There's a lot of extra stuff that they were really forward thinking with. And what he was saying also is that we work really hard with the staff to make sure that you greet people by their name when they come in, and that makes members feel really darn special. Sometimes that can be really difficult, but it is something that's a priority to us. And then also just offering things that are of value to families. That really truly is our target market at the moment. And so we may not make a ton off of it. I can say this, we are in the dues business. So there's a lot of extra value added things that we have there that we may not make a ton off of, but it means so much to the membership, and it really does create longevity there. So I love the team that I work with because they're really strategic thinkers, and we meet a lot regularly, and we do try to figure all of this out so that we're providing good value to the membership so that they want to stay.
For Air Reinhardt, they've just celebrated their 50th anniversary in Midland, a cornerstone in the city. And one of the things that I really wanted to do was to kind of mirror what they had already in progress. So a lot of my videos and content is about small businesses in the area or festivals that are going on in the area. I wanted to be the unofficial Midland mayor of, because when you're selling a home, you're not only just selling the home, but you're selling the neighborhood, you're selling the school system, I'm selling the parks, I'm selling the lawns. Like that?
I love that, man.
Like that.
Thanksgiving time, Brandon. Thanksgiving time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Maybe lose track, but yeah, that's exactly how I run my business, and that's what makes me a little bit more unique.
This is one that's about networking. I know Brandon and Scott very well from different things in town, and Mike, your name, and Megan, your name were given to me by people because of networking. How does networking enhance your personal brand? Anybody want to start?
Well, I can start. I'll say it. You'll have to tell me the name so I don't get invited again. But no, I think networking is kind of back to prospecting. It's, when you think of personal branding, to me, it's this very, I think on the surface, it's a very digital thing, right? It's Facebook, it's Twitter, whatever those things I mentioned earlier. But I think networking has been the social network for the last 100 years. The chamber events, festivals, like you had said. There's just so many opportunities to network every day that I don't think you lump into that, right? Going to the local market and talking to people. I still am one of the people, I still like to go inside a bank, if I have a check to cash and talk to people and do that. And that's, again, back to who I am, what I do, and where I do it. So I just think it's all the time at chamber events, at festivals, at a dinner, at a country club. I mean, part of the reason people join a country club is not just to golf and have food, right? To meet business contacts and meet people and have an opportunity to chat and talk to them about that. So I think it's just something you do all the time, every day.
It's organic as well for me, depending on where I am, right? I have 4 children. So I start to think about where my business will be impacted by my community the most. So I go and speak to the middle school classes in the schools in this area and make sure every kid takes home a bag with my logo on it to their parents. I market myself that way. I get involved with the chamber events and I focus on business owners or managers that may want to do something special for the holidays, food related for their employees. So it's pretty streamlined as far as I don't try to go to every single thing. I'll burn myself out, and I have children. I want to be a father, right? And I have a business to run, and I have to also respect the daily customers that come in every single day. They deserve my attention. So I guess it changes a little bit year to year how much I put into which events and how that works.
Anybody else on networking?
I'll jump in. You said it correctly. When I first started real estate, I was everywhere. Every event, everything, every time something was open, I was there, showing my face, showing a bow tie. You will eventually burn out. You can't keep it up. So then it goes back to being authentic. What do you really care about? What things can you actually help? Because if I'm part of 11, 12, I think I was part of 13 boards when I first started real estate. I'm only giving you a percentage of what I can really help you with. You know what I mean? So for you to actually love the city and love what it is that you do, you have to be able to set your time apart. And as you said, being a father, I like coaching my kids' teams. I like being there. I call myself the anti-networker. I'm that guy. I am just living my life. Yes, we can talk about real estate if you bring it up, because I don't want to bring it up. I'm with my kid right now. We're talking about basketball, right? And when you have those organic conversations, those are the ones that I love. Everyone knows when you're being sold. You only walked up to me because you want to get a deal, or you want to get this, or you're trying to get a deal. Just be cool. Talk to me. Let's just have a conversation about life and basketball. And you kind of walk away and go, he's kind of cool. What do you do? Because in Midland, that question is going to come up sooner or later, right? And then you go, I'd like to work with him. And it makes it more organic.
So for networking, for me, I guess a couple of things. Brandon did say it really, really well, but when I was first hired, I had to do a case study presentation before they picked whoever they wanted to be the membership director. They gave me a stack this big of paperwork and a week to work on a case study presentation of how exactly I was going to do my job. And one of the big questions was, since I was new to the Midland area, how was I going to make myself known to the Midland community and be the face of the country club? And maybe that's an intimidating question, but for me, it was, I grew up with a family small business, and I saw my dad and my grandpa do this a lot, and they just like always kept their head up, always acknowledged people, were great at making conversation with people. And so I don't know, maybe it came naturally to me, but I just replicated that here in the Midland community. And I feel really grateful that everyone has been, or they've received me really well too. And I've been able to make a lot of great connections and new friendships here, and really feel like I'm a part of this community now. So since that was a big question from my boss and our membership committee, the things that they had me start to get involved in locally, I would say within the Midland community specifically, were Rotary Club and going to the Chamber, now the Midland Business Alliance events. And then there's the Midland My Pros, which is the young professional organization. They had me get involved with that. And then my Professional Club Marketing Association, which isn't local to Midland, but exactly going back to what Brandon said, eventually it becomes way too tall of an ask, and you do need to refine it down to what matters most to you. So you may end up experiencing that too, and that's totally okay if you do. But yeah, it's just that's been my networking experience.
And Megan, that's a deal, right? You join one board, and just like Brandon said, all of a sudden you got 11 other people calling and saying, hey, we really want your help too, right? The people that give to the community are the people that give to the community. And it's just, you can get caught into a whirlpool of constantly people asking for your time. So it's important to make sure you're selective about how much you really spread yourself, or it's not authentic, right, Brandon? It's not authentic.
And I'll also say, you don't know what's important to you until you try. So yes, in the beginning, you may go a little large and then scale back as you find out what exactly you do want to do and how you want to make it look. So.
Well, I'm glad you guys are all here. That's all I want to make sure that hopefully that didn't take too much of your time away from.
That's good.
How important is feedback regarding your personal brand, and how do you use that feedback to redefine or enhance your brand?
Well, I'll tell every customer that's not happy, the only way we get better is unfiltered constructive criticism. If you're going to sit there and think you're that good, and you'll be seduced by your own thoughts and perils, and you're going to be in trouble if you're not taking every opportunity as opportunity to grow and learn. I mean, every customer that's mad is a chance to do something better. If you take it as the fact as, oh man, I don't want to talk to this guy, he's going to be mad, or take it as an opportunity, hey, I'm going to get a chance for us to grow, your attitude towards taking the call, your attitude towards fixing the problem is better. You know, I think I learned something here a long time ago. We're in the car business, we talk about if someone has a great experience, you have about a 50% chance to get them back, right? They come in, they buy a car. If they have a terrible experience, you have about a 10%. But if someone has a good experience that turns bad, i.e. their car breaks down, something's bad in there, and then you make it right, you have like a 90% chance to get them back. So you'd be further ahead to screw the pooch and fix it to keep your customers for a long time, right? Probably not the attitude to go towards it, but that's your opportunity to take that criticism, to take that opportunity and turn it around. So that's just how I look at it. It's treating a guest. I mean, there's lots of numbers and things like that, but the average person on a car in their lifetime will spend between $300,000 and $700,000. I would just assume that have as much of that be with Garber Chevrolet as possible.
Yeah. I would say I love the phone calls. I'm not a complainer, and I'm embarrassed to even make this phone call, and I'm so sorry I'm complaining. And I just sit there and go, what? I mean, that's way better than the person that doesn't call at all and just never shops in my store again. Is giving me an opportunity to fix it. Whew, bless you. That's who I want. Those are the customers I want. You're giving me the opportunity to not only make it right, but wow you in the process and get you to be loyal to me forever, right? That's amazing. That's a gift. That doesn't happen all the time. A lot of people, if they have a bad experience, they may just find somewhere else to go. There's 15 places to buy meat in Midland. go find somewhere else that treats them better. And I want the opportunity to gain them their loyalty or to get them back. So I would say if I am trying to sell authenticity, if I am trying to sell quality, customer service, fair prices, and an experience in my store, then I want to know if I'm succeeding. And if I'm not, give me the opportunity to fix it.
We're no different at the country club. So for feedback, there's a few different mechanisms that we use. Well, first of all, I would just say we do tell people regularly, if you don't tell us, we don't know, and then we can't do better. That's probably the biggest thing. But then one thing that we started was, well, probably like 5 or 6 years ago, was new member focus groups, which can be uncomfortable. You're bringing people in, you're vulnerable, and you're asking them over the last year, how did it go? And we ask the same like 6 questions every year. We try to keep it to an hour for them, but we truly take their feedback, write it all down, and bring it back to all the department heads and show them. And it helps immensely with the whole entire organization, because everyone at our at the country club sees the members from different angles. They may not see the whole entire picture. So that's one way that we get feedback. We do surveys, of course. We do comment cards at dinner, of course. But I would say another thing too is follow up in a very timely manner. So if there's something that's wrong on the comment card or something, our head chef will come to my office and be like, I need their phone number right now. I'm giving them a call. And that's just the way we operate with taking our feedback and really honoring it and making sure that we're utilizing that so we can be better for everyone.
So feedback for me, when you get a referral or you get that phone call from someone that says, hey, you sold John a house. John said you were the man. I have to work with you. That's everything. This is a word of mouth business. And as much as I love social media and all the other mediums, when someone takes their time out to tell a family member or a friend, hey, you have to call Brandon, what more could you ask for? That's how you know you've done a great job. As of the branding content, my mother is my focus group, so she looks at all of my content and tells me what videos she likes and dislikes and how I'm being silly and things like that. But the other side of the branding thing is, I'll say, you can make a video and in your head you think, this is great, this is hilarious, people are gonna love this, and you end up with 6 likes and 2 comments. That can be demoralizing sometimes. But also, as you're starting your business and starting your content, sometimes it just looks that way. I've had things that have failed like that, and I've reposted it 2 years later, and everyone loves it all of a sudden. I'm like, that's the same video I did last week. But that's just the way it works. So whatever it is that you're going, the consistency of what you're posting or what you're doing, it means something.
Before I open it up to questions from the students, and you guys will have an opportunity to ask questions if you haven't, I would just like to ask a very general question. What advice would you give to students when it comes to their first job, when it comes to their first interviews, when it comes to internships? I'm throwing a lot out there, but like, what advice would you give to college students right now? Because they're right in front of you or listening.
Well, I'll say what I said earlier. Anything you say and do can and will be used against you. I've been in the business in our market for 15 years, and I know there's people that have probably worked for us and left, and they might be a better person. They might be growing up, but I remember. And I would be so mad if I brought that person back and they did the same stupid thing they did before and tricked me again. So pretty blanket, pretty generic, but I think pretty powerful.
I'm used to being asked that question in terms of like a 17-year-old going to get their first job, because my business is a small family market. So I do have lifers. I got people that work for me that's how they put food on the table to feed their family. But over 50% of my employees, it's their very first job ever, or it's their very first experience to develop a work ethic. So it's different for me than where you guys are at. Some of you may have never had a job before, and if that's the case, I mean, do you want to know what you should wear to an interview and how to conduct yourself? Is it okay to ask what the pay is? All of those questions are appropriate. But if you're going to go into a career, know your value. Get to know the company you're going to talk to first. Get to know them. There's no excuse for any of you not to know exactly who the company you're going to interview with is. No excuse. You got a computer in your pocket, pull it out, look them up, social media, website, whatever, figure out who they are so that when happened to me today, I interviewed a guy. I said, tell me what you know about my store. And he said, nothing. Nothing. So I don't know. There's a lot of, I don't know how to answer that without thinking of high school kids.
That's a good point, Scott.
When I was interviewing for jobs, what I would always do, whether that was in high school jobs, which ironically was at a country club, but I had other ones, and then jobs after college too, was that I like to walk my resume in person and shake someone's hand. Another thing that I did was I've always had stationery that has my name and everything on it, and after an interview I'd write a handwritten thank you note and mail it to whoever interviewed me. Then what else? There were just lots of little things like that. Exactly what he said. Research the company. They love it when you can tell them about what you've got going on there or what they have going on there. So those are some of my big ones, I would say, is just take the little extra time to personally reach out to somebody if you can, rather than just like submitting a resume back on Indeed. I mean, if you're going to apply for a job in like California or something like that, I guess I can understand how you would do that. Another thing too would be to try to make an internal connection ahead of time with somebody there. If you can, if that's possible at all. Sometimes it's not, but if it is, it's a great thing too.
I would say be you. Be your authentic self. Companies need you. When you're being you, there's no gray area. And I also say details matter. Talking to the receptionist when you walk in, the way you shake hands. You always hear the line that people may not remember what you said, but they'll know the way you made them feel. Those things, those soft skills, those matter so much. It's one of the things that I tell my sons. You may not know everything, but you can shake a hand, you can smile, you can pick up after yourself. Those small things go so far.
Thank you. That's a great job. What kind of questions do students have? What is Mr. Hackler? We're going to take the microphone around only because we have people that are live streaming, or it'll be taped as well.
Can you hear me? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So from like a company standpoint, like when I think about branding, sometimes companies have to like switch their brand or like reposition themselves. Have you on a personal branding level ever had to like change something about, you talked a lot about authenticity, but have you ever been like in a position where you've had to change parts of yourself to get a job or to better your company in some way?
I'll start. So, being the Black guy in Midland, sometimes my ideas don't completely align with my company. I shot a video. I'm wearing a hoodie. I'm wearing a baseball hat. It was a condo. It was young. It was fun. The guy who owned the condo was 26, coming in from Dow and moving to Houston. I knew who was going to buy that condo. That wasn't a grandma's condo. Company did not quite feel the same. Perfectly fine. They allowed me to still shoot my video and post it to my own social media. House still sold in 2 days. Sorry, I feel the way I feel. So yes, there are moments when, yes, company may not see, but this goes back to being authentic yourself. This was me. I knew what I had and I knew how I could sell it. Sometimes you have to stand on business.
You can't. If you're doing things the same all the time, you're gonna lose. Perfect example. I started working in 2000 for my father-in-law, and this is no cut against him, but the philosophy in the store was, we have a lot of really cool stuff. Hopefully, you come in and check us out, right? And I was like, nah. So I wanted to change that narrative, and I wanted to get out in the community and get our name out to people, and that was tension, right? Selfishly, I started seasoning dinner or prepping dinner at work every day so that I didn't have to get home and season and prep dinner at home. Well, eventually I went, well, we could just sell it this way. And we changed. And now our value added section, we have over 60 different flavors of burgers, over 60 different flavors of brats, marinades. There's 15 marinades in my case right now. Also that you all, the younger generation, can take it home, make something that's going to really impress your girlfriend, boyfriend, mother-in-law, whatever. And you didn't have to do that much to get there, right? So yes, we change, right? Because if I was still doing things the same way that we were doing them when we opened in 1958, it would be obsolete.
I can't say there's been a lot of rebranding in the car business. I think there's just been a lot of changing the way we do business. Digitally, home delivery, things like that, things that you'd never would have thought we would do even, pre-COVID to now. But at the end of the day, people still kind of need cars. They're really not reinventing a wheel, bad pun intended, to do that.
That was awesome.
Thank you. I'll be here all week.
I could do just one quick ad, and that's one thing we do is we keep records, or I should say our hospitality team, the banquet team, keeps record of everyone who has, or the numbers of people who have showed up to our different events. So as decades have gone on at the country club, our events have evolved. And one thing with our current team that they do is they regularly sit down and they review how many people showed up and why that was, and they compare it to years past, and then they tweak it from there. So that's one way our brand is constantly evolving, is keeping records and taking the time to actually work on it.
Hi, Mr. McNellis. Hope his all is well. My question is basically personal branding and public relations kind of go hand in hand. So for you guys, like whether how big your company is or small, like your business is, how do you handle bad PR and get away out of it, but also somehow turn it into good PR for your business itself?
So some of the Google Analytics we look at, people won't take a page full of 5-star Google reviews serious because they don't think it's true. They'll think it's stuff. They'll think a lot of different things. Kind of, we talked about that a little bit with ethics. It's answer the person, treat them with respect, and try to make it right. I mean, not to keep it too simple, but there aren't a whole lot of options. We don't fire customers, You want to sometimes. But you can't fire
One time I have.
Yeah, I may have too, but you want. But at the end of the day, it's just try to make it right, or agree to disagree, but be civil. I mean, people are really mad on. I tell my daughter this: people are really mean on a keyboard when they send you an email, and then when they leave you a voicemail, they're really mean, and then they're not quite as mean on the phone, and then they're really nice in person, right? So just realize that person, is upset. They're a real person. We probably screwed something up, obviously not intentional, but we have to make it right. Unlike my guy on the other end, this is the second biggest purchase most people make after their house, right? So, the opportunity to just fix it and hope everyone's fair.
I could say, so for us in the past, if we had a moment that felt like it was bad PR or something, we would go, and by we, I mean, we have a little team. So it would be like myself and our general manager and maybe our HR manager or something like that, we go to great lengths to try to contact that person. Like call them actually, whether it was a member or not a member. And then we can usually gauge it on a scale of how critical it is to get them in front of us. So sometimes that means calling them into our general manager's office and sitting down with them in person and discussing the whole entire situation so that we can really nip it right there and then make sure that it's not going to happen again. So we do take that stuff quite seriously. That's how we do it, but it's usually in person the way we handle stuff.
We were joking about firing a customer, and I guess a question that I would have for you to think about is the customer always right? And the answer to that, my answer is no, but it's my job to make them feel that way, and not BS them, right? But actually try and get them to understand and feel like they're heard and they're valued, and then turn it back and turn it into a winning situation. The one customer I ever fired, every single time she came in the store, she complained. And I started off by giving her a discount or replacing whatever it was that was not to her liking. But after a while, after you've done that 6-7 times in a row, I finally pulled her aside and said, I pride myself on the quality that we put out the door and the service level that we give, and I am not able to meet your expectations, and you need to find somebody that can. And that was the only time I've ever fired a customer.
I think for me, I've been known to post a house and someone will be trolling up under and say, I can't believe that house is XYZ price and yada, and people start joining in. And I've learned in the history of life, no fight online has ever turned into, you know what, Brandon, you're right. I should stop that. Let me delete that. So usually I'm a kill him with kindness type of guy. I'll say, hey, meet me at Live Oak and we'll talk about it. I'll buy you a free coffee. No one gets mad at the nice guy who's offering you coffee to explain himself. And usually it goes away. So I don't know. That's kind of my idea of it. Like I said, the back and forth, you're going to lose.
Beautiful thing though, if you do it right, then somebody posted about a week ago, they got something that they weren't happy with out of my store. And they went on a rant. It was a good one. It was a really good rant. And what was amazing to me, I never said a word, but I had customers come to my back nonstop. Did you give Scott a call? Did you offer him the opportunity to fix it? This sounds like a one-off to me. That never happens. And when you've got that, when you've got loyal friends and customers that got your back like that, I mean, that's what you want, right? That's what you want. I didn't have to fight a battle at all. I have friends that did that for me. That was awesome. Great feeling.
How do you balance like authenticity and professionalism at the same time? I know it's different in every industry, but I found that hard in my like growing up my career, trying to be personable, but also maintaining some sort of professionalism and making sure you have the right amount of each.
I'll go. So that's the difference between the company brand and personal brand. Company brand, I'm suited, I'm smiling. My brand, I like to stay on the line of, should he have posted that? But I know that's my people. You know what I mean? Those are my people. I get the phone calls like, I like you because I know you're being real. I know you because I could sit down and have a beer with you. You're not putting on. I'm not placating. When you find that authenticity of being a dad or being a parent, or yes, everything is not always roses. Even in real estate, we'll have the sold sign and go, this was a hard one, because it happens. It's life. That is part of the game. But you say who you are, and it is what it is.
I could say, so the difference might be whether you start to go work for yourself or you work for somebody where you have somebody above you, a general manager, something like that. If you work for yourself, you're going to find out really quick that line of professionalism and authenticity and where you shouldn't cross it, because there's nobody above you to give you that constructive criticism, maybe if you feel like you're being unprofessional. But hopefully, if you are in a great work environment where there is a general manager or some sort of supervisor above you, hopefully they're giving you real-time feedback as to how you're doing with your professionalism. So for me, I have great communication with my general manager, and I watch that very closely. Yeah, that's fine.
I think you're skewed a little bit because the people that are up here are pretty gregarious type personalities. We're the ones that are going to be laughing and having a good time. When you work with any one of us, we want you to be friends, right? We want to be your friend. We want to be fun. We want you to see us admire and give us a high five, right? So I think that life is not cut out for every single person. My wife runs the business with me, and we've got this really good understanding that if I were to be by myself running the store, we would be bankrupt because I would give everything away and I would be friends with everybody. And if she ran the store, we would have no customers and no vendors because she's not that person. Right. So we know each other, and she keeps me in line, and I read her emails before she hits send. And it was literally legit. You cannot start that email with that sentence, Emily. You got to change it. Right. So I guess we work well together that way in my situation. But you're talking all people that are like, I mean, Brandon's, it's going to be fun. Right? You get a membership, it's going to be fun. You come into my store, you're going to eat.
Yeah. No, I think the word versus professional, I think, is appropriate. And that's just something you're going to learn trial and error. Is it appropriate to do this right now? You know, I read a book a long time ago, It's Your Ship. I don't know if you guys ever read that one. Admiral, it's a captain in the Navy, he turns the ship around. Long story short, anytime he made a decision, said something, you know, he said, and this is a while ago, if this was the headline of the Washington Times, would I be okay with it?
Yeah.
And if he was okay with it, then he went ahead and did it. If he's like, I don't know if I'd want that on the headline, on the headlines, he said, I didn't do it. You know, so if you'd be okay with what you said in the social setting and your professional, authentic self, broadcast it all over, go ahead and do it. If you probably wouldn't want your grandma to read it or see it or something like that, or someone close, your professor, your boss, you know, they'll say, if you don't want someone to know you're doing it, you probably shouldn't be doing it. That's kind of my little easy guideline, I would say, in that question.
I had a teacher in high school who said that my senior year. He ended up writing my letters of recommendation or a letter for college. And that still is very vivid in my mind. Him saying that to me was, if you were to post something online, would you be comfortable with your family seeing it? Yeah, a grandparent, something like that.
So I'm the other way around on this one.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it's not
It
appropriate.
depends on your platform, because on TikTok and Instagram, my followers are younger. My Facebook, yeah, my mom is on there. So I'm playing with two different chords of people. So yes, I can be a little bit more lenient on TikTok or Instagram or something like that. That's where my friends are. Over here, we're a little bit more buttoned up and we keep it a little bit more PC. So
Makes it appropriate.
exactly.
Yeah.
Appropriate
Yeah.
for what you're doing. Yeah. for
Your
sure.
audience. Right. Yeah.
Any other questions?
When you're like out hiring, interviewing people, trying to find someone new to employ, is there a phrase that you ever hear in an interview that tells you, okay, I want this person? Or is there a phrase that tells you, I don't want this person?
I always listen to see, I don't know if there's a phrase, but how much they'll bash their previous or current employer. It's pretty good
Don't
turnout.
do that. Don't do that.
I just picture myself in their next interview. So
It's really, it's a lot easier to pick up on all the things they shouldn't do in an interview than it is to tell you the one thing that makes it. Man, an interview should be like well, this is my world, right? An interview should be a conversation. And if you're sitting across the table from me, man, you're already halfway there, because I don't want to waste my time doing interviews if I don't actually need somebody to work in my store. So I need you as much as you need me. And we have a good conversation. The conversation goes easily, and you're getting to know me and I'm getting to know you. And in the end, you're going to make a decision as to whether or not this company is a good fit for my person. And I'm going to make a decision, is your person a good fit for my company? And if we can agree, then that's awesome. Those are the good interviews, the ones that we just keep talking. We have a great, easygoing conversation. And there's some, it's like pulling teeth, talking to the sloth in Zootopia. It's like awful, right? And sometimes that's the way it is. I think the best interviews the bad things are fun to make fun of. Like the woman that cried the entire time, bawling tears through an interview. And I was like, am I supposed to hire her? Because like, how big of a jerk do I look like when I go, no, get out and you don't have a job, right? But or one kid fell asleep one time. That's how exciting I was. Bashing your previous employers, that's awful. Never, ever. Sell you, not the negativity of your previous job. Sell you.
I don't really have a phrase. I'm not a part of the hiring process. Usually it's either my general manager or one of the banquet managers. But I remember when I was going out trying to find a job out of, actually any of them, whether it was out of college or high school, I would be in person. I would hand them my resume. And usually what I'd say at some point when talking to them is, let me know how I could help you. Because I genuinely, if I was there, I really cared. And so I did want to help them and see how I could better their organization. That was usually something that I said.
I'm not part of the hiring process. So when they bring the new people here, I'm like, you ready to grind? Let's go.
I will say, so when we talk and you get to know me in my business and when I'm hiring, I will tell you that I don't care how much you know about the products we sell. We could be selling shoelaces. I don't care. But I do care how well you treat my customers and how good of a team member you're going to be with your coworkers, right? Like I want them to come and look at the schedule and find your name on it and go, yeah, this is going to be a good day, right? And so those things are really important. So if you can regurgitate what my values are back to me, oh, you're going to win. I did an interview yesterday and the girl asked about compensation at the very end of the interview, and these were her words. So somebody that comes to work at your store and offers amazing customer service and gets along really well with their coworkers and pulls their weight and the weight of some other people, what does something like that pay? And I just went, holy, you want my job? Right? Because she told me all the values that I have for running my business. This is what I'm hiring for. That was amazing. That was an amazing way to ask about compensate, an uncomfortable subject. She blew me away.
So I'd like to wrap it up here. I appreciate our panel being here, and I just wanted to use a couple of what you guys said in your answers. I love everything you say can be used against you, and it does. If you sell junk, that doesn't mean they're going to come back. Doesn't matter what you put on it. The handwritten notes are great. I agree with you there. And make sure mom approves. That's always a good thing to think about. So please give our panel a round of applause. hope you're not in a big hurry if they had any questions they wanted to ask individuals, but thank you very much. Thanks for joining us, everybody, wherever you are.
It was our pleasure.
you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Yeah.